Trip to the River Dart, where conservationists are hoping to turn the tide on salt marsh decline. The £200,000 project is designed to restore around 10 acres of marsh. So what's the big deal? Well, experts say salt marshes are essential for capturing carbon, stopping erosion, fish and bird habitats, as well as plant life. And here's a fact for you. More than 85% of England's salt marsh has been lost in recent centuries to development and changing land use. Emma Rominsky went to see how the project's getting on.
It's hard to imagine this part of the River Dart without salt marsh, but there are already places where it's disappeared. The organisations working together to try and restore and protect the marsh say they're too important to lose.
Salt marshes are a really vital habitat for people and wildlife. So they sequester carbon, they help trap the sediment and pollutants in the water and lock it away, and they protect our shorelines from erosion. As well as that, they're a really important habitat for loads of really important plants and species like birds and fish that use our estuaries to feed, to hunt and to breed.
Downstream from Totnes, teams are working at low tide on the mud. Bundles of coppiced wood from the riverbanks are repurposed, tied in bundles and staked in place across gullies, holding back the sediment to allow the salt marsh to thrive.
So the mud has been very sticky. So what we've been using is scaffold boards, so that gives us some purchase on the ground, and also it means that we're doing less damage to the marsh, so we're not actually walking in the mud, because when we were walking in the mud, it's like walking through tar.
The Environment Agency estimates that 85% of England's salt marshes have been lost due to development and changing land use, and are more at risk because of rising sea levels and climate change. It's an important part of the ecosystem.
The salt marsh plants actually are a habitat, they're a community that support other animals, not flooded by every tide, but just enough salt to keep other plants at bay.
The project has cost £200,000 to restore 10 acres. Dart Harbour and Navigation Authority is hopeful the scheme can expand further in future.
So this area here is the one area on the Dart that used to have salt marsh but now doesn't. It was there up until the 20s and 30s, but now it's mudflat. So the next phase of this project is going to be to have a look at whether there's a possibility of restoring some of that, bringing back some of the fantastic salt marsh habitat into that environment.
Around 300 of these bundles will be buried in the salt marsh to help protect it. The learning that they complete here should help other estuaries in future. Emma Rominsky, BBC Spotlight on the River Dart.
And I'm sure we'll return to check on the progress. Live from Plymouth, this is BBC Spotlight. Still to come before 7 with warnings of